Good afternoon. Great to see everyone. I am going to do something new today. And we're going to stream this. We're going to stream this so people can see it at the same time. All right, so I'll let everybody come on in. We're talking today about whether our food matters, whether our food affects our care. Now, it's certainly a little bit of a rhetorical question, right? Because we all know that our food definitely affects our care, but super important to talk about that. So I'm going to let everybody come on in. Great to have you guys here, and we'll get this streaming. Hope everyone's having a great day. If you're having a great day, give me a thumbs up on your screen. There we go. All right. Beautiful. Gonna get a few more people in here. Great to have you guys with us. Beautiful. So we're streaming on Facebook also, which is really, really cool. I'm excited about that. And I'm going to have a recommendation at the end of our call today if you need additional support for your nutritional health. All right, so if you have questions, you can look at the bottom of your screen. There's a little button that says chat, and you can chat in there. I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat screen, so you'll see that there. If you have a question at all, click on the participants button, and then you'll see an option to raise your hand. And so if you have any questions, raise your digital hand. That will be awesome. Let's take a look here. We're streaming on Facebook, which is super cool. So that means more people can see what's going on with this. And we're going to talk about nutrition. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about what's going on. And then you can, if you're on the Zoom call, you can raise your hand and I will get to those questions. So why would a chiropractor be talking about nutrition? I'm a chiropractor. I work with nervous system stress and nervous system balance. Okay, let's see. Are you able, I'm seeing on here that you can't hear audio. Dan is telling me that. Could somebody else, if you can hear my audio, would you please type GTG in the chat, which means good to go. If you can hear my audio, type good to go in the chat. Okay, so I'm getting some other people here saying they can hear Dan. Let's take a look. Okay, so can't hear me. Dan, in the bottom of your screen where it says mute, click on that up arrow, and then there will be a section that says select a speaker. You might just have to pick a different speaker. So your audio might be working, it may just not be in Zoom, it might not be selected properly. So try that. If that doesn't work, we're recording this, and so I can definitely send you a link. Okay, so nutrition is super important because we need to pay attention to what we're putting in. Good job, Dan. Glad that works out for you. So if you've ever been to a zoo, they've never, in fact, I just was at an animal sanctuary type thing, and we were able to feed giraffes, among other things. We got to bathe an elephant, we got to feed giraffes, and what they had us feeding the giraffes were raw carrots. If our food is our medicine, then what we're putting in really matters. And so we were giving these giraffes raw carrots that were cleaned and cut in the right size. And I got to thinking, you know, we're not giving these giraffes Doritos, Mountain Dew. We are controlling the diet of the giraffes. And so we're giving the giraffes the food that they need, because if our food is our nutrition, if our food is our medicine, then we should probably have good stuff that we're putting in. Riveting, right? I know that's not new information for you, but I want to reinforce the idea that it's not just what we're eating or not eating. That is extremely important. But by a show of hands, or you can unmute yourself or put the answer in the chat. Either way is okay. How many grams of kale are recommended per day? How many grams of kale are recommended per day? Now, I do have a poll question I'm going to ask in a minute, but this is not that. So there's a recommended amount of kale that we should have every day for the nutritional impact of that. Does anybody know what that number might be, or anybody want to guess? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and just guess if you have a guess. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Miss Judy, what's your thought?
No idea.
No idea. Fair enough.
I've heard kale's good for you. I've heard it's bad for you. I don't. Everybody's got their ideas.
Sure, that's true. So the recommended amount in grams per day of kale is 50 grams. 50 grams of kale every day. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't eat 50 grams of kale. Even when I'm juicing, I'm not getting 50 grams of kale. So what do? Do we walk around stressed out about it, or do we just avoid it? And Miss Judy, I'll get to questions at the end for sure. I want to answer your questions. So what do we do about that? Well, the best thing I know to do is to supplement our diets. Now, we've heard of the standard American diet. I don't think it's an accident that the acronym for that is SAD. The average American eats 12.2 fast food meals per week. I don't know if we can call those meals, but 12.2 times per week in a fast food establishment. Now, if my family and I aren't there, and there are 5 of us, 6 if my dad's with us, then somebody's eating our portion, right? So this manufactured food product that's not actually food, we're putting into our bodies. What do we do about that? Well, the rule is, if you heard in your new patient orientation, if you have to open a box, package, or can, you should think twice. In fact, avoid it at all costs. If you have to open a box, package, or can, it probably shouldn't be going into your body. If it does, if you do open one for some reason, a package, make sure it passes the label test. We want to make sure that there are less than 5 ingredients and you can pronounce every ingredient on there. That's very, very important. If you don't know what it is, your body doesn't know what it is. And so it's really important that you're not putting stuff in your body that it can't handle. Now, the nervous system processes stress, but that can be biochemical stress. So Dr. Duran did a great job last week talking about gravity and how that's putting biomechanical stress on our structure, but our nervous system still has to respond to that. Well, it has to respond to biochemical stress as well. And so if we're putting all kinds of junk in our bodies and we're not getting the support we need with that, that will also stress out our nerve system, which means you're not going to heal, function, thrive, respond as well as you need to. Now, we're doing our part to keep your nervous system working in tip-top shape, but if you're putting biochemical challenges in, or if you have deficiencies, right, if you don't have enough fuel, you can have the coolest jet on the planet and you can sit in the pilot seat, but if you don't have fuel in that jet, you're not going anywhere. So what we put in really, really matters. And so I'm going to ask a poll question here, and I'd like to get your input. So I'm going to launch the poll. The question is, how much of your diet should be raw? Can everybody see that question? Let's see if we're answering there. Let's see. So go ahead and vote. Let's see. Good. I see you voting. This is great. Taking a look here. So how much of our diet should be raw? Should it be 11%, 28%, 51%, or 100%? All right. So looks like everybody that's on live has voted. Let me check over here. Shaylette, butter's not in this conversation. No, you're good. You go ahead and eat your butter. It's all good. And make me some too. All right. Okay. 11, 28, 51, or 100. So the correct answer on that is 51%. And the reason for the 51% is more than half of your diet should be raw. If we are what we eat, are we dead or alive? Raw food is living food. And so we want to make sure that we're putting life in, whether it's fruits, vegetables, you know, raw, or whether we juice them, we still can get incredible nutritional value from those. Now, because our diet is not nutrient dense food, because the idea of deficiencies are big. So everybody talks about toxicities. Don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that. Stay away from aspartame, which is true. Definitely stay away from aspartame, which is in diet drinks and diet and sugar-free gum. So stay away from those things for sure. But the idea of stay away is what our society is focusing on, but we're often not, stay away from gluten, stay away from high fructose corn syrup, stay away from aspartame. You hear these messages all the time, and they're good messages. But the challenge is, what if we're not getting enough of the right stuff? And that is why my family and I for years have been tested. We get tested every month. It used to be with Dr. Porter. He unfortunately passed away in June. Dr. Sarver and Dr. LeMay and Dr. Clark are still out there, and they're doing the nutrition response testing care. I can still tell you, I've tried other places, nobody gets the results that they get. I can just tell you that for sure. And actually, before I go any further, I'm just going to put right in the chat. So we just saw Dr. Sarver. By the way, I don't get anything. I can't legally get anything if you go see another doctor that I refer you to. So there's nothing in it for me other than I'm super happy if you get better. So I just put Dr. Sarver's information there. He's in Flat Rock. Put the phone number there. Give them a call. Tell them we sent you, so that they get you in right away. But that is the best nutrition response testing care I've ever been a part of. We have sent hundreds of patients out there, and I can't say enough good things about it. So for sure, if you want support, I want to make sure that you have that support and that you can see them. What I'm going to do at this point is open it up to Dr. Durand and Dr. Wireman. If you guys have anything to add, feel free to unmute yourselves. And for those of you that are attending, if you have questions, please go in the participants box and raise your digital hand, and we'll open it up to Dr. Durand and Dr. Wireman. When they're done, or if they don't have anything, we can go right to your questions. So make sure you raise your digital hand. For that, I want to spend the next couple minutes having some conversations about your questions. All right, so that's super important. All right, doctors, go ahead and open it up if you have anything you'd like to add. No worries if you don't. These guys always show that they're smarter than I am, which I think is super cool. That means I'm a good leader because I surround myself with people that are smarter than I am. So that's cool. All right. So, Dr. Wireman, go right ahead.
Yeah, whenever discussing nutrition, I get often asked a lot about the different fad diets that are out
Yes.
there. There's definitely a lot of different ones. So everyone's like, oh, is paleo good, or is this good, or is vegan good? Like, there's tons of different ones. And the best answer is there's a little bit of benefit to each one, and it really depends on the individual. So I would say try some and see how your body responds, because everybody has a unique individual biochemical way that they process whatever they're eating or consuming or exposed to. So I think it's good to try different ones and kind of see how your body responds to each one, and what your body likes the best, whether it's gluten-free or paleo or whatever. Experiment with a couple different ones and find the one that works best for you. And it's a way that you can make as part of a lifestyle change and not just reactionary. Oh, I need to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to do this diet for a week or 2 weeks or a month, and then give up onto it because you really hate eating that way. That's not going to do you long-term good. Find one that works good for your body and that you enjoy doing, that you can make a lifestyle change that you're doing for the rest of your life and you're not miserable because of it. I think that's an important takeaway when it comes to nutrition, is you want to have it a lifestyle change, not a short-term reaction to something. So that's my 2 cents.
Very well said. Very well said. And just like financial advisors recommend not having a a budget, if that bothers you, not having a budget, but having a spending plan, right? You could, instead of being on a diet, you could have a food or a nutrition plan, and that can work really well. But definitely be under the advice of a professional, right? Be under the direction of a doctor. We do not do nutrition work in our office. We have in the past, but when we do, we always hire a doctor to handle that exclusively, because we want to focus on getting the stress out of your nervous system, getting the autonomic nervous system balanced, because nobody else is doing that. So we want to focus on that. And if we have other people in the office doing it, that's great. But we want to make sure that you're, getting proper care. And by the way, going to, the store and asking somebody, hey, what supplement should I take? Don't do that. You got to make sure you're tested. You got to make sure you're dosed, because everybody's body is different. Excellent. All right. So Miss Judy, it looked like you had a question. So go ahead and unmute yourself. Good
Okay.
job.
Yeah. I don't understand other languages. So if 50 grams, what is that in English? In American?
I could convert that to ounces, but usually in like in a kitchen scale, you can tell it to weigh in grams. So I will certainly look that up. I can convert it. Let's check. I don't know how many ounces that is. 50 grams is 1.764 ounces.
Thank
So
you.
1 3/4 ounces. Sure.
I still have to figure out.
Sure. My point in bringing that up was, we're not getting it in our diets, and we're not going to get it in our diets. Like, even, the seeds that are all produced by Monsanto now, like, if you don't grow your own food, you're not going to get the nutrition you need. So for me, instead of worrying about that, and I mean, I eat intentionally and I eat a lot. If you see me, I love to eat, man. Let's do it. I'm a social eater even. But because I need my mind quiet, I really, how Steve Jobs, they talked about how he used to wear a black shirt and jeans every day because he needed his mind quiet. He didn't want to think about what he had to do. Well, I make sure that I'm supplementing every day. In fact, I'll show you. I'll show you. Here's my bag that I bring to the office. And I took my breakfast pills this morning, and I've got my supplements for noon. When I eat, I'll take those. And at noon, I need 15 drops of metal cord. And so I'm tested and dosed every month for this stuff because it changes. It changes rapidly. If you're taking the same stuff you were taking 6 months ago, something's not working. Or if you're taking the same stuff in the same dose, something's not working. You've got to, your body's needs change. Your budget changes, your adjustments change, your weight changes, your energy levels change, your nerve flow changes. So your nutritional support should be changing to follow whatever your body's needs are, right? So the point is, you're not going to get all the nutrition you need by eating it in the United States, unless you have your own organic garden with beetles to keep bugs away instead of pesticides and all that sort of stuff. So we have partnered with doctors that do this work. We send people to them, and then they've partnered with distributors who have best in world products. I don't sell them. I just take them. I'm a patient. This is a goodwill call saying, this is behind the curtain. This is what my family and I do. In addition to our upper cervical care to get the stress out of our nervous system, we have our beamer at the office, our beamers at home. We use the laser when we need to, and we supplement. And this is personally who we see for our care. And so there's nothing in it for me, but I want you to have information that can help you win, right? We're looking for the double win here. Yes, Miss Judy.
I heard it's not you are what you eat. It's you are what you eat eats. So like if you eat animals, if they're grass-fed, that kind of thing. If it's plants, it's, like Monsanto, the pesticides and all that kind of stuff. So that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And I'm looking, I don't have it readily available. I'll have to get it, but there's a company that I like where you can get your meat where they make sure that what they're eating. Now it's more expensive, right? Because they're not mass producing stuff, but it's clean and they'll ship it to you. I'll find out who we use for that. But it's great. I mean, it's delicious, it's healthy. We're not putting crap in our bodies and it's good.
Better to put your money into those things than into healthcare.
I would say that is healthcare. So
No,
I
that's what I'm
agree with
saying.
you. I agree with you because the thing is that what's odd to me is that God made our bodies to heal and regulate on their own. He made it so that what we eat should be helping us, not hurting us, should be feeding us and fueling us, not distracting us from what we need to be doing, not adding stress like our diets often do. Yet somehow somebody came up with this novel idea that doing something that's artificial, that's chemical, that's drugs and surgery driven is traditional, and everything that's true health is alternative. Has that ever, man, that gets my goat every time. This is the real stuff. The other stuff is the alternative.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
that drugs and surgery, I'm not saying you never need them, but for goodness sake, that is the alternative. Get your nervous system free from interference, get your structure upright against gravity, put the right stuff in, the right food, the right water, half of your body weight in ounces of clean water, protect yourself from the EMFs like we've talked about, and make sure you're supplementing properly. The world is yours for the taking. We've got about 5 more minutes. If you have any other questions, I'm going to check over here on Facebook and see if anybody has questions over here. But those of you on the call, I want to make sure I get to your questions first. Were there any other questions? Okay, very good. Well, if there aren't, you guys are free to sign off a few minutes early and pack some extra value into your day. What I'll do is this is streaming on Facebook. Some people don't have Facebook, so by the end of the day, this will be on our YouTube channel. So if there are things that you liked or you want to rewatch this will be replayed on the YouTube channel. And if you just go to YouTube and search for Lazar Spinal Care, subscribe to that because then when there are new videos that are posted like this, it will notify you. Because we don't want to inundate your inbox, but we want to make sure that you're getting access to the information and that you at least know that it's there and that that's available and things. So if there aren't any other questions, we will be back next week for another weekly live coaching. Doesn't look like there are any other questions. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you have your best day ever. If we are what we eat, are we dead or alive? Right? So eat food that's living, right? Plants, vegetables, herbs, fruits. Living food is good stuff to eat. And make sure that more than half of it is alive, right? Raw, alive, living food. All right? Have an awesome day. We'll see you next week. Thanks for being here.